Hi all, welcome to the second online lesson. Wow, isn't it crazy what's happening? I don't know what I'm doing. Here you go. So what the whole purpose of this video and these materials is help you get ready for multiplying polynomials. Your parents, if they remember from algebra, or older brothers and sisters, might remember this being called foiling, or I mean, of course, there's more to it than that. But what I'm going to have you start with here is we're just going to work with algebra tiles and get you to get the basics, so you kind of understand what's going on with it. So like the notes you're taking this on is here. It looks like orange. I'm just doing a white on white because it writes a little easier. So when we're doing algebra tiles, you can, if I were in the classroom, well, here, let me open these up for you. If we were here in the classroom, we'd be looking at these. These are algebra tiles, and they're just physical manipulatives, and while they're great intro, and you'll shortly go beyond these things, but they're great to learn how to do it. And then when we try to unmultiply, factoring we call it, they're also great. And then again, it gets old quickly, and you'll want to learn the shortcuts. Right, so those represent ones, and the colors matter. I don't honestly remember which is which, because notice how there's tans and reds. One side you can show as negatives, the other side is positives. I never worry about that for this, because shortly we go beyond it. So just worry about we'll just do all positives, maybe, or maybe we'll play with a negative here. Maybe we'll make one decision and we'll make one side be a negative. We'll call, here's what we'll do. Let's make an executive decision. If we see a side that's red, because they all have red sides, the red means negative, and any other side will mean positive, okay? Because like, see how those are greens, and those are tans, and I've got blues for the x squareds. All right, so if we have a red side up, that's going to represent a negative, okay? So this first one's kind of simple. They have, we're multiplying what 3 times 2 is. So 3 this way, 2 this way. And when you multiply 3 times 2, you get 6, right? But you notice there's 1 here that gets multiplied by both, and that all 3, and this gets multiplied by all 3. Go the other way, these 3 get multiplied by each of those individuals, and we get 6, okay? So now we're going to create a rectangle. See, this is the rectangle. All right, these are like these are the factors. So we're going to represent a rectangle that multiplies 4 times negative 3. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this here. Now, unfortunately, you don't have access to these tiles. So basically what you could do is you could do it with different color ink. And what I'll do is once I lay these out, I'll show what I'm going to do with a 2-color pen. So whoops, I need I need 4 reds, I said, or 4 positives. Then we said red was going to be negative, didn't we? So I know this is going to seem kind of silly, because you know what the answer is, I think, already, but it's good to learn the representation. The SAT, they throw these kind of questions at you. I'm going to draw it out. So basically, you're going to have 4 times, well, we know 4 times negative 3 equals negative 12, right? So how do we show that with this representation? So I'm going to find, I don't even know if I have enough singles to do this with. So here's what I'm going to do. See, I could, and you could start doing this. I would have to go with 12 red tiles, right? I don't have enough in this packet. I could go get some more. So there's those 3 times that 1. I'll do what I can. And then those 3 times that 1. Okay, and then we'll do it. Then we'll do it again. What else do I have here? Whoops, that's a positive, negative, and then do I have any other singles? I don't have any more singles, so I'm just going to cheat and write in 3 more reds. Okay, oh, let's get color them in. Okay, so there's what that represents. So now, if you want in your notes, you can get if you got a red pen and a green pen or a brown pen, doesn't have just a different colored pen. It could be a pencil for you even, or a black pen. And you can sketch that in. So what last year's 8th graders, when I did this, they said, "Oh, well, we want to do this, Mr. LeMay. Here's our 3 reds." And then they went, I think they had, I'll use the green. Here's my 4 positives, and then they just wrote them all in. Right. Instead of doing the algebra tiles. And then I guess I should have slid those up, but that's okay. So that's how you do that. So that's the first part. Now we're going to get to doing something a little more interesting. At least I think it's a little more interesting. Let's see, what did you have? You had this. And then we're going to go to this. Do I have that paper? Oh, where's that paper? It looks like this, guys. This is the inside. What is it? It's 3 times x. Oh, I don't have a copy of that. All right, we'll just use this one then. Okay. So they want me to create a rectangle that represents 3 by 2x plus 1. So these are x's, and if you look up there, you see that's x's, and that's a positive x. That's the green. And notice the other thing that they deliberately do this. This is not equal to the, so if I put these single unit ones, which are nice constants, these are nice numbers, you see how it isn't equal to an even number of or see, it's a little bit bigger than 5 units. And they do that deliberately because we don't want you to get confused with x being equal to 5, okay, or x equal to 6. So it's deliberately a vague number, an unknown. So what I'm going to do is actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this on another piece of paper because this is a little small for the tiles. So I drew my tile. See, what am I trying to multiply? I'm trying to multiply 3 times 2x plus 1. Okay. Let me make sure you can see this, folks, before I go on here. I should turn my computer around, I guess. You can see that. So 2x plus 1. So I'm going to put 2x, 2 x's plus 1 by 3. So there's the 2 x's plus 1. And then I'm going to do the 3, the units, the singles. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to multiply this times that, and that gets multiplied by each of them. So I need to come up with, let's see, there's 2x plus 1 times 1. And then I need another 2x times another 1, or there's 2x plus 1. Then I need another 2x plus 1. So there's the multiplication, right? I went to 2x plus 1 times 3. And what does that give me? Well, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing 6 x's, and plus 3. So that's how that works out. And that's the algebra tiles part of it. Okay, if you want, sketch that down in your notes. And here, I'm going to do it too. Here, let me get that. Let's get that out of there. And I don't know what you can see here. I'm going to don't you stop the video and copy that down, and then I'm going to copy it down right now, but I'm just going to keep the video playing. Okay, so can I see everything here? I'm going to do it like this, I guess. What can you see with that? Yeah, you'll be able to see that. So I'm going to draw, let's see. I'm going to draw, whoops. I'm going to draw two X's. Here, I'm going to try to make them look about the same. Plus 1 times, and then I'm going to draw those 6 X's that came out. Okay, and then that equals what? 6x plus 3. I'd probably write that over there, but I don't know if you can see that. And that's what it is. So any ideas? I'm not going to tell you this. I'm not going to say you this, but I want you to think about what is the shortcut? What is the algebraic manipulation way to make this become this? And you can say this out loud. You can yell at the screen, say, Mr. LeMay, I know the answers. I know how to do that. Okay. So now let's talk about this one. Let's see. 4x. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab another piece of paper out from underneath this because I've got a lot of it lined up right there. It'll make it a lot easier to do this. So let's do that. And I'm supposed to multiply what next? 4 times x minus 4. So what should I do? What should I do here? Well, I got to do 4. So I have four singles, right? So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to be really lazy and try to scoop those up onto my page here. There's my 4 singles. It doesn't matter whether you're going this way or this way either, just so you know. That's the way I'm doing it. And then x minus 4. So then I need an x, and that's positive. But then I need 4 negatives, don't I? 2, 3. So now I've got to multiply this, don't I? Let's move this up so you can see this. Make sure you can see that. Yeah. Have you folks discovered that it's easier to watch these instructional videos if you play it on 2-speed? Click on the little gear in YouTube and you can speed the video up so you don't have to. I sound like a chipmunk, you know, Alvin and the Chipmunks, but it speeds things up. So then we've got, I don't know if I have this many, because then I got to do that negative times 4. I don't know if I have this many. I don't know if I have enough single units here. We'll try it. We'll see how far we go. This is pretty cool. Nobody ever showed. I mean, they didn't have these algebra tiles when I was learning algebra. I think it would have helped. Okay, let's see. Do I have more? Okay, where's some more? Looks like I'm going to run out of them, aren't I? So I got to add. I have to draw in 3 reds. It looks like I don't have any more, do I? No, those are all. Okay, so let's go to red ink. Something like that. So what do I get? When I do 4 times x minus 4, I get 4x plus, aren't there 12? So I want you to think about how you can, actually you've done this kind of math, right? Yeah, I know you've done this kind of math. So what do we do? How do we simplify that to make it be that? Okay, so that's that problem. You can stop the video and copy that down if you want, and just draw it in. I won't draw it in here. You know how to do that. It'll look like this. You know, we just draw it in. So the next one says x plus 4 times x plus 2. So here, I'm going to draw my x plus 4 times x plus 2. Let me make sure you can see that. Okay, yep, I think you can. So here's x. So there's the x. I'm going to do the plus 2. Where's all my singles? Oh, they're up here. Actually, why don't I put the 4 here? Oops, I got to turn those over so they're not red. And x plus 2 on the other side. Yeah, this does something. We haven't multiplied an x by an x. Okay. Now here's what I want you to think about, and I'm gonna kind of get you thinking about the shortcuts. If I multiply x to the first times x to the first, what do I do with those exponents? I hope you told me that you add them. That becomes x squared, and that's exactly what we need here. We need to have an x times an x gives me an x squared. See, that's a nice square, and see how it's x long by x long? It's a nice visual, isn't it? And then I need to do x times 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to have, those are positives. So I need to have 4 x's here. It's a little bit different than what we're doing, isn't it? Then I need to have x times 2. So I need to have that. And then I need to have 2 times 4, which is 8, right? So I'm going to line those up. Notice that these x rectangles are 1 unit wide. There we go. There's an online, there's a website I found that did this. I'm gonna go down, I gotta sit and look at them a little more. Maybe I'll have you do something with that, some kind of discussion forum post, since we're not gonna be in the same room again this year. So what happens when I multiply x plus 2 times x plus 4? Well, I get x squared, I get an x squared, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's, and I get 8 singles. And that isn't so as intuitive as before. And that's what we'll get when it gets you there. But that's what happened. So what I would do is I would do this here. Maybe I should sketch this one out for you. Let me slide this over so to make sure you guys can see everything. You can see it pretty much, I guess. This one we're doing. So I need to do, let me not use red because that means, so here's an x, and here's, what did I do, 4 on top, and here's an x, Here's 2 on down here. So x times x, let me make that look a little more like a same length. Here, I'm going to shade that in so it doesn't look so weird. So I'm going to do x squared. Here's my x, excuse me, here's my x squared. And then here's a bunch of x's. Here's a bunch of x's. And here are a bunch of 1's, because 1 times 1 is 1. And that gave me x squared plus 6x plus 8. Okay. So maybe it's time to start moving beyond the tiles and just do the sketching. Maybe you can do that. So this next one, we're going to multiply 2x plus 1 times x minus 3. So you're going to need 2 different colors because we've got the negative 3, right? So I'm going to do 2x on top. Try to make them be the same length. And then I need a 1. And then I need an x coming down. And we'll try to make those be the same length. There. Let's see, I'm going to cheat a little. Oh, look at that. About like that. There's a 1. Oh, I need the 3. Sorry, negative 1. Negative 3 I need. So let's make these negative. Here, we'll cheat and do it this way. All right, so I've got positive x times positive x. This gives me 1x squared. And then we've got another positive x times a positive x. That gives me another x squared. And then I've got an x times a 1, and that's a positive x. And then I've got positive x times negative 1. That gives me a negative x. A positive x times another negative 1 gives me a negative x. And then a positive 1 times a negative 1 times a positive 1 is a negative 1. Then I've got the same deal, right? Same thing happening here. Does it help having me write in the negative x's? I don't know. Those are all the same. So what does that give me? Well, I get 2x squareds. Then I've got a positive x and a negative x, and don't they cancel each other out? So those are kind of gone. And that leaves me 5 negative x's left. But what I write, this should be negative 1, sorry. Then I get 3 negative 1's. And that is what that multiplies out to. Where this is really cool is I'm going to give you this, and then you get to come up with the side lengths. That's where it's really cool. That's where we're going to go with it. But not today. Not till probably the end of this week. I'm recording this on Friday, the 27th. Normally that would be the end of the 3rd quarter, wouldn't it? Okay, so why don't you stop the video and write that down. And what else? How many more do I got to do here? Is that it? Are there? Oh, here's some more. Okay. Where did I give you those? Oh no, that's a different problem. All right, I guess that's it. Tell you what, I'm going to try to find that website, and maybe I'll make another video, and I'll have. In fact, I think I'm going to have you do that just for as an assessment. I'll go find that website that does this, and we'll make some up and have you try it out there. Okay. Well, hopefully this helps, and don't hesitate to give a yell if you're lost.